and listen. Thank you very much for that message. The recording is in progress. Therefore, I'm going to give you a treatment, as we always do. I am forever learning and expanding my knowledge, for I am a student of life and of all that it encompasses. I draw in knowledge that I may use to enhance my life. I am eclectic and take my truths from wherever I can find it. Knowledge of myself is revealed to me because I seek it. I am constantly getting to know myself better. I am a student of the mental laws of life, and I accept these laws as the laws of my life. I am constantly learning how I may use the laws to enhance every experience. I am a student of life because I'm committed to wealth and self-growth. I know I am a vital link in the evolutionary process. I am involved with my real nature so that I may evolve even further. I know the mind in me as me is infinite in its ability. I affirm that I'm always a student of this cosmic intelligence and that I am forever learning more about how beautiful God is by means of me. I accept the joy of learning, living, and loving. I am an enthusiastic student of the laws of mind. And I'm going to read one more of Phyllis's articles, and then we'll get into the topic of the night. This is a very powerful one. It's called A Whole New World. Here I am, sitting at my computer, having the best time and thinking of all the events that had to occur to bring me to this time of enjoyment of my life. There are no accidents. Whatever happens, happens for a reason. And there's always a kernel of good in everything, even when it appears to be bad. 7 months ago, after many years with the company, my job in Irwin's was terminated as a result of downsizing. When rumors were flying about the impending doom, I thought, no, this can't happen to me, but I was wrong. However, my company was generous in their severance package. I was secure and comfortable and started to enjoy things, a brand new freedom I had never experienced. You see, I thought I had to work until 62 or 65 to go on Social Security and become a statistic. Fortunately, we live in an area that is pension friendly, and then I found out money goes much further than it did when we lived in New York. I used to think, what would I do with myself if I didn't have a job? Well, I found out there is life after work. You see, retiring from work does not mean retiring from life. We just reprogram our thinking to the present time and place. Forget yesterday. That was then, this is now. I started experimenting in new areas. I've been attending various computer classes at the community school. I brought a new computer and I'm having an exciting time playing with it. I learned how to do fun things like greeting cards, signs, calendars, including graphics, which is processing this masterpiece right now. I joined an aerobics class, weightlifting, training class, treadmill, walking and line dancing, jeans, boots, and all. When school starts up again this fall, I will be doing volunteer work as a teacher's aide. I'm looking into being a hospital volunteer, and after that, who knows? I feel like I'm a kid on a summer recess. Everything has become an adventure, like the song says, a whole new world. So what's my point? Just this. All of you retirees out there, I urge you to try something new, something different, accept the challenges. Establish a new philosophy, a new way of thinking. Life is meant to be lived each and every single day. Don't let the highlight of your day be the early bird. Remember, if you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you can't. Namaste. Very wise words. And boy, did we find out what a different world it could be with retirement. Well, in the past, we spoke quite a bit about spiritual laws. Then we went over them again and again, making the recommendation that you probably always knew them, but you didn't know how well to use them. And now that you do know this, I'm sure your life has changed somewhat dramatically. But I don't recall that I ever spoke about the spiritual gifts. I know I mentioned them. They are peace, power, love, joy, beauty, light, and wisdom. I'll repeat them: peace, power, love, joy, beauty, light, and wisdom. We established a custom on a Christmas celebration, to take these seven and put them on a piece of paper, put them in a hat, and volunteers from our group would pick them out and then speak about them in their own words, how this applied in their own life. Some of them were incredible. In fact, I was almost amazed how beautiful some of them were. We put quite a few of them into our monthly magazine that we sent out. But I think what we have missed in this, that is all good and well, because that's what we do as human beings. But if you notice, they're called spiritual gifts, which means they are gifts from our Creator to us. And then once we understand them, then we can do the same thing we did with the spiritual gifts, use them to bring the good into our life. So I said, I'm going to look in the Bible and see how much I can find out about each of these, because I wanted to try and get the spiritual aspect of these wonderful possibilities. Well, in the glossary piece had something like 27 items, going way back. All this stuff goes back to the beginning of the Bible, to the end of it, as it is now written in the King James Bible. But the one that stood out to me, it said, "And the peace of God, which passeth all understanding." The peace that passes all understanding. Obviously, it's not talking about the peace that we can figure out with our own human faculties, which are one of the gifts of the Creator. It's talking about something far above and beyond that, beyond our human understanding. I learned quite a while back that this peace that they're talking about, don't know if I use it as successfully as I can, but it's the peace that comes along with the knowledge that you are one with the Creator and one with everything there is, including every human being on the planet Earth. And once we begin to understand our oneness, then we can start eliminating all the nonsense that keeps us from anything but peace. We can get rid of all the jealousies, the hatreds, the gossiping, the anger, jealousy, etc., etc., etc. Compliments at the sound of music. My apologies. It's a different show, but it was in there, and he loved saying that, etc., etc., etc. The King and I, that's what it was. So once we begin to understand that we do not have to go outside of ourselves to look for peace, it's already been presented to us as part of this magnificent package that we inhabit when we enter into human life. And it doesn't just come easy. It's available, I assure you. But we're so busy being humans, which is just about anything but peaceful most of the time, as can clearly be exhibited right now with what's going on the other side of the world. That's not the peace that we seem to be capable of, not only understanding, but practicing. The peace beyond all human understanding. How can we find it? It's available, so then Where do we go to find it? Well, once again, I'm going to recommend my favorite topic. You can find it in the process of silence and meditation. And just leaving yourself open. Whenever you have a life situation that seems beyond your ability, and remember, we have a promise that we would never be given more than we could handle. Go to the place where the information is, become quiet, ask for the peace and the understanding of what to do, and then allow it to go and provide it to you from the intuitive God force that is you. What a wonderful way to become more peaceful. And by the way, I'm still practicing, but I think I'm about 80% now. I've still got 20% to work on. The second one is power. And power, when I looked it up, had about 35 comments in the Bible. But the one that struck me most strongly is from John 1, chapter 1, verse 8. When the apostles were locked up after the death of Christ and they were terrified to go out for fear they would be killed, he reappeared in a form that they didn't know, but they recognized him. And he said, "You shall receive power after the Holy Ghost has come upon you." See, once again now, we have the opportunity to see it's a gift and it's available. And he promised the Spirit would come upon them and that they would have power beyond all imagination. And if you can recall, you who are much better Bible students than I, it said they went out speaking tongues, spreading out to all parts of the world and passing on the message of Christ. That's the power. That's the spiritual power. The power you get from a free, clear understanding that you are one with the very power of the universe. For we have been promised that we are co-creators and that we can conceive and believe we will achieve. That's true power. The knowledge to understand, not the power of what can we get, where can we go and get it, can we buy it, can we join political groups? No, the power that's within us that clearly assists and helps us at all times to know that anything that we need is already available. We simply must become quiet and allow it to enter. The next one's pretty amazing. The title of that one is Love. There are 147 comments in the glossary about love. So obviously, it was considered to be one of the most significant gifts. One thing that I did enjoy was Ephesians chapter 3, verse 19. And it said, "And to know the love of Christ, which passeth knowledge, is the key to all things." So once again, we're back to knowing and understanding that we have the love of Christ because we are one with. Remember, the Father, Son, and Spirit are all one. So, and we are one with all of them. And love is amazing. John 15, verse 12, actually it goes on from verse 9, chapter 9, I'm sorry, chapter 15, verses 9 to 12. This is the one that's most important to me. "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you." See, we're not talking human love here. Human love is basically conditional. Spiritual love has no conditions. It simply recognizes that every living one of us is all of the same kind. It eliminates all judgment of any kind. It just says, as I love you, love everyone else. It's a tremendous challenge because we get confused with two terms, love and like. You can love everyone, no matter what the situation is, because you know, and I know that we're all spiritual creatures, and that within us is that spirit of love. You don't have to like everyone, but that doesn't mean that you have to challenge the ones you don't like either. Simply recognize you don't particularly like them or their habits, and then withdraw from them as much as humanly possible. But we must love them no matter what. And then I looked for joy, and I said, what's in there for joy? And there were 25. And the one I found out that I thought was pretty cool was the Psalms of David, Psalm chapter 16, verse 11. Thou shalt show me the path of life. In thy pleasure is the fullness of joy. I think I mentioned I tease a lot of people. I don't say enjoy your day. I say joy in your day, because the rightful cornucopia of joy is truly within, and then it is yours to express outwardly in whatever way you would care to share with the people you're walking around with every day, every circumstance, every situation. Joy is not something you can buy. It's not something you have to earn. It's an ingrowing gift to you, a spiritual gift from the Creator that knows you and knows you well because you are his creation. And he has presented every opportunity on this planet to take the joy within and practice it without. It's just so beautiful when you truly think about it, that you could have joy no matter what the circumstances, because externally it can't be purchased, bought, but internally it's present, and it could be recognized, honored, and spread around. You be the person who is always full of joy. Beauty was kind of unique. It doesn't say much in the Bible about beauty. There's only 8 quotes in there. And I didn't particularly care for many of them, to tell you the truth, because they were very difficult to interpret and put out there. But the beauty I always talked about is the natural beauty of us, and the planet. One of my great joys is every day, at least for a half hour, to go out on my terrace, look over the golf course, the trees, and hear the chorus of different birds that are available in Florida. When I was up north, I never heard anything like it. It's just amazing, the beauty within nature. Many of the great visionaries said, if you wish to truly find the inborn beauty, go into nature. I had a gentleman, and I brought him up once in one of my talks. Everybody thought he was very limited in consciousness, because he used to walk around every day and go and hug the trees. And sometimes he would actually hug a tree for perhaps even a full minute, 2 minutes. And then he'd walk away and he'd be smiling. And we thought there was something wrong with him. It didn't take me too much longer to go and find out he had it right. And more often than not, there's something wrong with us. For we're looking for external beauty. He was contacting internal beauty, the nature that has been created for us in every aspect, so that we should fully recognize the beauty in every individual, every situation, and every circumstance. That, to me, is true beauty. That is taking the beauty that was created the day we were born and realizing it, no matter what you're looking at and how you feel about yourself, you are truly beautiful. If you can understand and deeply practice the presence of God in you and as you and through you. The magnificence of it is that once you see it in yourself, You are so very capable of seeing it, everybody, even beyond whatever appears outside. As terrifying and as horrible as this war is, we simply can't see at this time what could possibly be the beauty of this and the good of this war. But I assure you, down the path somewhere, however it is finally resolved, there will be a beauty far beyond anything you anticipated before. This magnificent country that they have destroyed for fear of its democracy and out of the jealousy of how amazing country is, will rebound with millions of dollars, billions of dollars, volunteers from all over the world to help them rebuild. That's true practice and knowledge of the beauty of mankind. Next one we said was light. And for light, there were 23. The one I liked and picked out was John chapter 12, verse 35. Yet a little while is the light within you. Walk while you have the light. See, once again, it is great to feel you have it in your external world, but this is the light that is within you. I almost prefer to call it the soul and the spirit, that kind of light. But I also like to apply it as a human being. It's a lightness that you feel when you are involved with understanding all these wonderful spiritual laws. You walk lighter, you feel lighter, you are much more pleasant to be around because you have the light of God within you. And you know at all times that will never change. All of these spiritual gifts are within. And they will not change over time because that's the only place where there is any permanence in our lives. And next we got this thing called wisdom. And I remember at one point Solomon asked the God that he believed in, what is the greatest gift? And he was told wisdom is the greatest of all. But I looked it up. There was only 9 comments on wisdom, but I'd like James chapter 3, verse 17. But the wisdom that is from above is pure, peaceable, gentle and easy, full of mercy and good fruits. That is true wisdom. The ability to recognize that when it comes from above to you, it's pure, no conditions, peaceable, gentle, easy, and full of mercy and full of good fruits. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So I ask you, in your own time, to look at what they mean to you and how deeply you can conceive the idea that you have them all from the day you were born, that you don't have to beg for any of them, you don't have to work for any of them, but you do have to be open and trust and believe that what it means to be one with God contains all of these fabulous gifts: peace, power, love, joy, beauty, light, and wisdom. One more time. They say 3 times makes it permanent memory. Peace, power, love, joy, beauty, light, and wisdom. When I first got these in class, I couldn't remember. Not too uncommon for me because sometimes that's one of my difficulties, but we were conquering it and overcoming it. But I said, hey, there's 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I have 7 days of the week. So why don't I apply them to the week? Well, I said, first of all, peace. Monday is peace day because I just got done with a magnificent weekend. And I'm coming back to a job, knowing that I have a job. And no matter what happens this day, like I say every morning, nothing, no one, or nobody will disturb my peace. I ain't going to do that today on Monday. So Monday's peace day. Power day was the recognition that I had everything I needed to do my job well, which is a wonderful feeling of power when you're not concerned or worried about what's going to happen to you. Wednesday was love day because we used to call that over the hump day. Half the week was over and we were now going downhill to look forward to the joy of the weekend. So I made that love day. Joy was we were one day closer to the weekend. So you see, I kind of took love and joy and paralleled them because, oh, what a wonderful and fabulous weekend I was going to have. Beauty was Saturday and Sunday, my own time, free time to do whatever I want to. What a beautiful thought. No clock, nothing to worry about on the business side. Just the clearness of looking forward to the weekend. Wisdom was the full knowledge that the odds were that by Sunday night I wouldn't be too happy because the weekend never materialized like I dreamt it would. And I got a weekend that I didn't consider to be any of the above, neither peaceful nor joyful. So I call that Wisdom Day because I recognize that many times that we as humans give up 5 days to get 2 days, which are not delivered according to our plans. And as a result, we wasted 7 days. The wisdom to go and understand that each and every day is a separate opportunity to go and develop better understanding of everything, to ask yourself in the morning, what kind of wonderful adventure am I going to have today? Look at every day as an adventure. No labels, no goods, no bads. Just another day. Clean page, like we say, when the artist starts a new painting, you look at the canvas, you see nothing. He's looking or she's looking at the canvas. The picture is already in mind and the hands just follow the picture exactly as it is in mind. And the results are remarkable. We have more museums with multi-million-dollar paintings. That's exactly and precisely how they occurred, because the person that did the understood clearly about the beauty and the wisdom, that it was within, and just allowed it to take over his hands and his mind and let it come out on canvas. A lot of what comes out on canvas, for many of us who think, my God, that's painting. There's the abstract arts, and there's so many different names for the different kinds of paintings. But there's always somebody that's going to think, but that's amazing, that's beautiful. We like watching Antique Roadshow, which we did the other night. And it was a canvas that this woman bought for $25 at a store once where they were having a sale. And it was a series of lines going in different directions and meeting somewhere in the middle, but just lines. And I must admit, I looked at it and said, well, maybe there is some beauty in there somewhere, but I'm darned at the moment if I can see it. Well, the appraiser that was there looked at it, said, young lady, you have something here. You have no idea the value of this painting. She says, really? He says, yes. It's one of the lost paintings from so-and-so, and I honestly can't remember the name. But everything on it says clearly this is not a fake, because in the back it is signed by him, and we know the signature. It is stamped, it is dated, and it was in his catalog before he died that this was one of the paintings he made. At this moment, I would tell you that this painting at auction will probably sell for anything from $2 million to $3 million. So what am I talking about? Beauty is in the eyes of the beholders. Have you ever heard that? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. When you're looking out at yourself, do you see beauty? For that right now is in the eye of the beholder. Do you recognize what you represent, the magnificence that you represent, the awesome possibility of this human body with billions of cells working with each other to try and keep you in perfect health and equilibrium? Can you go and look at somebody that, by our standards, our human standards, we make comments such as, they're not in their right mind. Oh, he's a bit off. Oh, he's handicapped. Oh, he's this and she's that. No, you're looking at the outside. You're not looking at the inside, which is the beautiful gift of the Creator. So you see, everything is in our eyes. Everything is part of our consciousness. Everything is our labels. Stop labeling. Go in pure. See that every other person on the earth is one with you, which, by the way, is already demonstrating as one of the unique possibilities and reasons for this absolutely terrible war. The world is banding together to respect and admire this leader, this president of that country. And, oh God, I can't even believe it. It's so hard to say. Countries that were at each other all the time, supposedly part of different groups, European this and NATO that and something else, suddenly have all joined together in unity, which was something no person before had been able to accomplish. But in the terror and the disgust with what's happening here and the desire to assist and go and help them to overcome it, the world, the entire world has come together and joined together. So you see, even in this situation right now, somewhere in there, there is a beauty that's beyond all understanding. We can't at the moment, because we look at what we see, we cannot comprehend and understand. This might be the one thing that was necessary to unify the entire democratic world. And in the end, the amazing ability of these people to come back and rebuild, they will not only have one of the most modern societies in the world, it will be one of the newest, because it will be rebuilt. I chose to give you these today because they allow you opportunity to see when there are spiritual laws and not referring to us externally, even though they are available to us to go and use. That's the whole purpose of being aware of these gifts. But they are all from within, and there's only one place they come from. That's within. And if you're labeling from the outside, you're denying your ability to accept the gifts that were given to us by our Creator. I tell you, my life right now is so good, sometimes it's almost scary. Because I think in my own heart, at least that's what these things are, my own opinions and some biblical quotes, with the fuller understanding that they have always been available to me, and they still are, My life has changed dramatically just as by using the spiritual laws. My outpicturing of the possibilities of not only me, but every other person on the planet is far greater, and my life has changed dramatically. The love I have now for my wife is truly beyond all understanding. I don't know how it works yet, but it gets better every day. I know how we met. I know what we did. We called it love, and at that time it was love, but not the love that's being discussed here, which is the love deeply inside of us to be given to our partner unconditionally for the remainder of our time on this planet. You're having some difficulties in relationships. Look back and ask yourself, can I be the person that can bring love back into this relationship? How do I do it? By treating the other people or person as a complete package of God, just like I am, that they have a right to their opinions, whether you like them or not. Assuming they're a bit nasty or unkind, you can accept that because that's where they're coming from. Their unhappiness is just being put out there to share it with somebody else because it's a terrible burden on them. And you start settling down. And you really, truly practice this idea that nothing, no one, or no person is going to interfere with this wonderful package that I represent, that I'm one with God in me and as me and through me. Well, gang, next week I'll get back, I think, to the third of the life lessons that Mr. Chambers is kind enough to put into a book. We'll have some more brand new and wonderful treatments, and possibly one more of Phyllis's, which in my opinion, as you've heard from the first two or three, are amazing applications of spiritual mind treatments in person, being applied in life. By opening your mind and changing your attitudes, not labeling, just looking at it as an adventure. I know once it's completed, and right now they have the final corrections to be made on it. It will be a book you or anybody else that it will be presented to will be so grateful for having it, because it is truly enlightening. I-N lightning, not E-N lightning. For it'll help and assist you to see there's a much better way to live than you have been living before. I bless you all tonight for being with me. If I sound a little weary, the truth of it is I am. Today was a bit more difficult for some reason while on dialysis for the 4 hours. But I know one thing, I got this incredible, beautiful body that is presented to me that can restore me. It just needs some time. And by tomorrow morning, I'll be up and around, and jumping around, and having a good time, living a good life. And I leave that thought with you each day. Brand new canvas, brand new possibilities. And only you can be the artist. Only you can be the writer of your own destiny. Love you all. Have a great night, great week, awesome life. Good night, everyone. Good night, Michael.
Yes, sir. It was another good show. Let me turn off